Shalom, my friends. I am Rabbi Yosef, and today I am going to reveal an ancient spiritual law that governs the flow of wealth. This is not a metaphor. It is a technology. I am about to give you a specific prayer, a spiritual protocol that quietly, methodically, and permanently removes financial struggles from your life, often while you sleep. It works by rewiring the very foundation of your consciousness, turning you from a magnet for debt into a vessel for divine abundance. This is the secret that, once understood, will completely re-architect your financial destiny. But before I unveil this powerful truth, I need you to make a declaration of readiness. This is not for me, it is for you. Go to the comments right now and write, "I am a vessel for divine abundance." Do not just type the words, feel them. This is your first official act of shifting your consciousness. It is a signal to the universe, to God, that you are no longer available for struggle, that you are open and ready to receive. Our mission here is to gather an army of 100,000 souls dedicated to mastering this spiritual technology. If you are ready to be one of them, to move from a life of lack to a life of overflow, subscribe to this channel now. And for those who are truly serious about accelerating their journey, for a limited time, I am opening the doors to the Torah Millionaire Business School for just $299. This is where I unveil the complete Torah wealth system. The doors are closing soon. The link is in the comments. Now let us begin. I understand the unique, soul-crushing agony of praying for financial help and hearing only silence in return. I know the feeling of your faith turning brittle. I know this because I lived it. Years ago, I was a young rabbi, my heart full of sincere faith, but my pockets were completely empty. I was drowning in over $85,000 of debt. It was not a noble spiritual poverty. It was a suffocating, ugly weight. Every morning I would wake up with a jolt at 3 a.m., my heart pounding, the number $85,000 flashing in my mind like a neon sign of failure. It was a poison that seeped into every corner of my life. It created a quiet, corrosive tension in my marriage. My wife and I would have hushed, anxious conversations about the bills after the children were asleep, our words laced with a fear we tried to hide from each other. It stole the joy from my fatherhood. I remember the shame of telling my son I couldn't afford the new baseball glove he wanted, seeing the flicker of disappointment in his eyes. That feeling was worse than any creditor's call. I prayed with all my heart. I would stay up late into the night in my study, the holy books spread before me, reciting psalms until my voice was hoarse. My face was often wet with tears, begging God for a miracle. "Please, God," I would plead, "I am doing your work. Just show me a sign. Just send me some relief." But nothing happened. In fact, the mountain of debt only grew. My hope, my emunah, was turning to dust. I felt like a profound hypocrite. How could I stand before my congregation and teach about a benevolent, all-powerful God when my own life was a testament to lack and struggle? I was a walking contradiction, and the weight of it was breaking me. The enemy we are all fighting is a subtle and powerful one. I call it the begging consciousness. It is the insidious lie whispered into our souls from birth that our relationship with God is that of a beggar to a distant, reluctant king. It is the deep-seated, often unconscious belief that we are fundamentally unworthy, powerless supplicants hoping to be thrown a few crumbs from the Master's table. The hidden mechanism of this enemy is that it programs our entire being to the frequency of lack. It is a spiritual posture. When you beg, you are affirming your own powerlessness. You are screaming into the universe, "I am poor, I am struggling, I do not have enough." And the universe, which is a perfect and impersonal mirror of your consciousness, simply responds, "As you believe, so it is. Yes, you are." The cost of surrendering to this enemy is a life of quiet desperation. It is the slow, painful erosion of your God-given dreams. It is the tragic reality of arriving at the end of your days with your truest potential, your divine inheritance, still locked inside you, a treasure chest never opened. It is the ultimate tragedy. A prince who lives his entire life as a pauper because he never learned the language of the palace. He never understood that the kingdom was already his. But what if I told you that the code to defeating this begging consciousness was embedded in the Torah thousands of years ago, in one of the most dramatic moments in human history? In the book of Exodus, chapter 14, we find the Israelites in an impossible situation. They have just made a courageous escape from Egypt, the land of their slavery. But their freedom is short-lived. Before them lies the impassable Red Sea, a churning wall of water. Behind them, they hear the thunder of 600 chariots. Pharaoh's army, the most powerful military force on earth, is closing in for the kill. They are trapped. There is no way forward and no way back. Terrified, they do what any of us would do. They cry out to God. Moses, their leader, the man who speaks to God face to face, joins them, crying out in desperate prayer. And God's response in that moment is one of the most misunderstood and powerful statements in the entire Torah. God says to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move forward." Think about the sheer radical audacity of that command. Move forward into where? Into an ocean. It makes no logical sense. It is a command to walk into certain death. But the Kabbalists, the mystics of our tradition, teach a profound secret here. God was not angry. He was teaching Moses and all future generations the fundamental law of reality. He was saying, stop begging, stop focusing on the obstacle. Your prayer is not what moves me. Your consciousness is what moves the sea. Shift from the consciousness of a trapped victim to the consciousness of a free creator. Act as if the way is already made, and the way will be made for you. This is the ultimate principle of hishtadlut, of human effort, born from a place of absolute bitachon, of unwavering trust. You do not pray for the miracle. You pray from the place of the miracle already completed. The Midrash teaches that the sea did not part until the first Israelite, a man named Nachshon ben Aminadav, walked into the water up to his nostrils. Only then, when he demonstrated absolute faith through action, did the waters split. This is the secret. Faith without action is a corpse. Action without faith is mechanical. But faith expressed through action is the force that reshapes reality itself. That night, studying this passage in my cold, dark study, a fire was lit within me that has never gone out. I saw myself with painful clarity. I had been standing at the edge of my own Red Sea of debt, crying, begging, pleading, completely blind to the fact that God had already given me the power to part the waters. I made a decision. I would no longer be a slave to my begging consciousness. That very night, I performed the ritual I am about to teach you. I stopped begging God to fix my problems and started commanding my reality to align with the abundance that was my divine birthright. At first, nothing happened externally. The pile of bills on my desk was still there. But internally, everything shifted. The chronic gnawing anxiety in the pit of my stomach was replaced by a quiet, unshakable confidence. The shame was replaced by a profound sense of peace, of emunah. I slept through the night for the first time in years. The next day, I made a call to my most aggressive creditor, a man I had been avoiding for months. But this time, instead of begging for mercy, I spoke with calm authority. I didn't make excuses. I proposed a new payment plan, not as a desperate plea, but as a reasonable strategy. The man, who had been harsh and unyielding for a year, was silent for a moment, and then he simply said, "Okay, I can work with that." It was the first crack in the dam. Within a week, an old acquaintance called me out of the blue. He had a complex historical document he needed translated from ancient Hebrew, and he offered me a consulting fee that was, to me at the time, a fortune, $15,000. Within 6 months, through a series of such coincidences and opportunities that seemed to appear from nowhere, I had not only cleared the entire $85,000 of debt, but I had also laid the foundation for the wealth I have today. I had not changed my external circumstances. I had changed my internal consciousness, and my circumstances were forced to follow. Now, let me give you the practical application. I call it the Midnight Abundance Prayer Protocol. It is a 3-step spiritual technology that you will perform every single night before you go to sleep. This is not about adding another task to your busy day. This is about reprogramming your subconscious mind, the part of you that controls 95% of your life, to work for your financial good while you rest. Step 1. The Consciousness Declaration. As you lie in your bed, in that quiet, sacred space between wakefulness and sleep, you will say this phrase out loud 3 times. I am not the beggar of abundance. I am the vessel through which it flows. Do not just say the words, feel them in your bones. This is not a hollow affirmation. This is a realignment of your spiritual DNA. You are shifting your core identity from someone who lacks to someone who directs. You are reminding your soul of its true nature as a partner with God in the act of creation. The why is critical. The last thought you have before sleep is the command that your subconscious mind works on all night. Modern neuroscience confirms what the sages have taught for millennia. The moments before sleep are when your conscious mind releases control and your subconscious becomes most receptive to new programming. You are planting a seed of sovereign abundance, not a seed of desperate lack. Step 2. The Gratitude Alignment. Immediately after the declaration, you will identify 3 things in your life right now for which you are grateful, specifically related to your parnasa, your livelihood. It does not matter how small they seem. This is crucial. Do not dismiss this. I am grateful for the $10 in my wallet. I am grateful for the roof over my head that my job provides, even if I don't like the job. I am grateful for the skills I possess that have the potential to earn me money. Gratitude is the frequency of receiving. It is the immutable spiritual law that says, what you appreciate, appreciates. The Hebrew word for gratitude, hodaya, shares the same root as the word for acknowledgement. When you acknowledge what you have, you are telling the universe that you see its gifts, that you are a conscious receiver, not an unconscious consumer. By focusing on what you have, no matter how little, you are telling the universe that you are a good steward of its gifts and are ready for more. You are opening the very channels that the begging consciousness has blocked for years. This is not wishful thinking. Gratitude shifts your brain's reticular activating system, the filter that determines what you notice in your environment. When you focus on abundance, you begin to see opportunities for abundance everywhere. Step 3. The Morning Action Commitment. With your eyes still closed, you will decide on one single concrete action you will take tomorrow to move toward your financial goal. It must be specific and non-negotiable. Tomorrow, I will spend 30 minutes researching how to build a website. Tomorrow, I will make 1 extra sales call, even if I'm scared. Tomorrow, I will skip my morning latte and put that $5 into a separate savings account. This step is the hishtadlut. It is the body following the soul's command. It is you telling God, I am not waiting for a handout, I am walking into the sea. This protocol works. Let me tell you about a student of mine, Sarah, a single mother earning just $42,000 a year, drowning in over $50,000 of credit card and student loan debt. She was working as an administrative assistant, barely making ends meet. She felt trapped, hopeless. She implemented this protocol with fierce consistency. Every night, without fail, she performed the 3 steps. Within 90 days, she had an idea for an online course teaching other parents how to homeschool effectively, a skill she had developed out of necessity. She spent her lunch breaks building the course. Within a year, that business was generating $12,000 a month, and she had paid off all her debt. She quit her job. Today, she runs a 6-figure business from her home. Or David, a man in his 50s whose small manufacturing business was losing $15,000 a month. He was weeks from bankruptcy. He started the protocol. He told me the shift was palpable. He started seeing inefficiencies in his business he had been blind to for years. He found the courage to have difficult conversations with his staff. Within 4 months, he had turned the $15,000 monthly loss into a $22,000 monthly profit. This is not magic. This is spiritual law. Now, I know the objections that are rising in your mind. The first one is the most common. But Rabbi, I've been praying for years. Nothing works for me. I understand that feeling of spiritual exhaustion. But here is the truth you must grasp. You have been trying to change your results with the wrong kind of prayer. You have been using the prayer of the victim, the prayer of the beggar. You have been trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of quicksand. This protocol is not another thing to try. It is a fundamental shift in the very ground upon which you build your life. Stop focusing on the failure of your past actions and focus on the power of your future consciousness. The problem was never that God wasn't listening. The problem was that you were speaking the language of lack. The second objection is, Rabbi, this sounds too simple. How can a few words at night solve my massive financial problems? Do not mistake simplicity for weakness. The most powerful forces in the universe are simple. A single seed contains the blueprint for a mighty oak tree. A single drop of water can begin a flood. The purpose of this protocol is not to magically make money appear under your pillow. The purpose is to shift your consciousness, your imuna, so that you begin to see the opportunities that have been surrounding you all along, invisible to your eyes of struggle. It attunes your mind to the frequency of solutions, not problems. You will start getting new ideas in the shower. You will find the courage to make that call you've been avoiding. You will see a path where before you only saw a solid wall. That is how it works. The third objection is from the intellectually skeptical. This sounds like New Age manifestation, not authentic Torah wisdom. It is a fair question. But the modern law of attraction is a pale, distorted echo of the deep spiritual technology that has existed in Kabbalah for millennia. The difference is the source of power. New Age thought often centers the self as the ultimate creator. Torah wisdom understands that we are co-creators with God. We are not the source of the electricity. We are the ones who must build the vessel and plug it into the infinite current. This protocol is not about wishful thinking. It is about aligning yourself with the divine will and flow that already exists. So here is my challenge to you. For the next 21 days, you will commit to the Midnight Abundance Prayer Protocol without fail. Not 20 days. 21. This is the time the Kabbalists teach it takes to form a new neural pathway, to create a new habit in your consciousness. Here are your 3 immediate, non-negotiable actions to begin. 1. Tonight, before you sleep, no matter how tired you are, you will perform the 3 steps of the protocol. 2. Tomorrow morning, you will execute the one action you committed to, no matter how small or insignificant it seems. Action is the body saying Amen to the soul's prayer. 3. You will get a small notebook and label it your Book of Abundance. You will write down every single sign of abundance you see for the next 21 days. A coin on the street, a surprise discount at the store, a kind word from your boss, an idea that pops into your head. You must train your eyes to see what you have been blind to. And here is a bonus tip for those who are truly committed. Find an accountability partner. Share this video with one person who you know is also struggling and commit to doing this challenge together. Send each other a text message every morning that says, "I walked into the sea." The Talmud teaches, a prisoner cannot free himself from prison. You need a brother or a sister on this journey to hold you accountable to your own freedom. And now, I want to end with a blessing. May you be blessed with the courage to shift from begging to receiving. May you be blessed with the wisdom to move from passive prayer to active faith. May you be blessed with the clarity to see that the abundance of the universe is not something you have to chase, but something you must simply, finally, allow. May your nights be filled with peace and your mornings with purpose. May you walk into your Red Sea with confidence, knowing that the waters will part. I am praying for you. Shalom.